Mike, thanks for your time. How are you? How's everything going? You had neck surgery last year.
I
did. Was from your career, probably?
Yes.
How long did you walk around with that?
Yeah, so I had neck issues going back to 2013. You know, wrestling's a hard part of the sport. And
Yep.
I hurt my neck then. They wanted to do a disc replacement way back then. 2018, you can see the scar here. They did a fusion, but I still had neck pain, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. And it was really bad for going back 5 years. So last year, they replaced the disc. That didn't help at all. Then in October, they did 2 more surgeries. They came in through the back of my neck. They did a ridiculous amount of work. My neck was swollen out here. The pain was like nothing I've ever experienced. And it was a really dark time in my life because the pain was so bad. And I literally was worried that if this pain doesn't improve, I can't live.
Can't function.
Like this.
Crazy.
No, I couldn't do anything. But anyway, so now I'm doing this. It's okay. It's all right. The surgery has made it worse. It has not made it better at all. The surgery has made my neck issues worse.
Well, it sucks to hear that. I was hoping for
it's
a
okay.
more positive, but especially coming from you, because we all know, you fought with...
It's fine.
I know, but you fought with one eye and,
It's all good. I still got it. I'm still working out every day. I still even think about maybe coming back for one more.
No.
You know what I mean? Anyone just gets on my neck.
You're very good at commentary. Please keep on doing that.
Thank you. I know, but I do miss it, maybe. I've still got it.
I got that same feeling.
Still got it, Stefan.
I have an heart issue and my left ear is all messed up, so I'm like, I get that feeling on them, but like, let's not do it. Let's not do it.
I'll try. Can't promise it. It depends. If I get fired from commentary, if I have no more job, if I come back and if you see that I'm fighting, you know I've been fired from commentary.
They will not
They're
fire
like,
you.
get rid of this guy.
No.
I'm like, right, I have to go beat up some influencer in Poland or something.
They've actually asked
me too. Yeah, I know.
Same guy, maybe.
It must be.
How much did they offer you?
Not
enough?
What it was. It wasn't enough, but I was like, we need to up that number a little bit. But I kept him on the hook. I was like, yeah, let's keep talking.
Go a little higher, it may work. For you, how is it to be back here in London? Because you had some incredible nights here. I was going to ask you what's the first memory that comes to mind, but I think the Anderson Silva fight is.
Yeah, it is, because that's definitely my most recent one fighting here as well. You know, I mean, obviously I fought at the O2 Arena many times, going back. The first one was 2007, so almost 20 years ago now. Amazing memories, and it's anytime I fly back to England. Of course, I live in America now. Whenever I land back, I'm always so happy to be back, and I'm just filled with a sense of pride and joy, and I'm able to just be myself. You know, my sense of humour, you know, because it doesn't really translate in America. Because I'll be silly or I'll say something sarcastic and they think I'm serious, you know. So I can just automatically just be myself again. But it's nice to be back at the O2 Arena. It's nice to be involved. That's why I love what I do, working as a commentator so much. Because I love commentating, and yes, I love still being involved with the sport. But to be able to come back to arenas like the O2, and it just brings back a sense of, I don't know, it just takes me back. It's a little trip down memory lane. I love being a part of the show. I love speaking to the new fighters as they're coming up. I love giving them a little bit of advice along the way, and just, as I say, still being a part of it.
Yeah, I understand it 100% because I have the exact same thing.
Yeah.
For you, which fight is more special, the Henderson fight or the Silva fight?
For me, the Anderson Silva fight, 100%. Listen, Dan Henderson, obviously, he knocked me out at UFC 100. We had a rematch for the belt at 204, and I was able to win that, and that was great. But for me, Anderson Silva was always a hero of mine, you know. And Anderson Silva, yes, towards the end of his career, he lost a few fights. But I fought him, he'd lost to Chris Weidman, that was it. He came back, he'd beaten Nick Diaz. So I like to say it was still Anderson of old, and it kind of was. So to beat Anderson Silva, someone that I'd looked up to for so long, I mean, he was the champion for so long, you know, when I was in the middleweight division. So that was always my dream fight. So to fight him, it wasn't for the belt, but I did get to share the octagon. We did have a legendary fight, and to get the win, for me, all day, Anderson Silva, one of my best.
To me, it's the most iconic fight I have seen in the O2, and what would you say? He was definitely still the Anderson Silva that we love seeing. So, big fight ahead this weekend in the welterweight division. Leon was struggling in his last fight. He didn't seem like himself. It seemed like the fight time was bothering him. He spoke out about it. His team spoke out about it. Yeah. You fought in Manchester. I did the same thing. I fought on that card where you fought Henderson. How did you deal with it? How did you feel fighting at that time?
It didn't really bother me, to be honest. I would love to say differently. I'm not trying to disagree with Leon. Only Leon knows what was going on with his body and in his mind. I don't think it really affects the fighters as much as what they think it does. Obviously, Leon lost the fight, so he's going to look for a reason. And I think he's latching onto that as maybe, not as an excuse. I'm not saying he's making excuses, but he's like, well, it was the middle of the night and I felt off. But you know what it's like, Stefan. Yep. Some fights you do feel off. Some fights you do feel sluggish. Some fights you're just not your best, you know? And I think he puts it all together and maybe he's blaming that. When I fought in Manchester in the middle of the night, every single fight was a stoppage, apart from my fight, which went to a decision, but it was the fight of the night. I fought in the middle of the night. I fought in Australia first thing in the morning. You know, every single time when you're walking out there, there's 20,000 people. And you're going to fight someone that you've just spent 2 months of your life preparing and obsessing over. It doesn't matter what time of day it is because the adrenaline kicks in. However, I understand why Leon feels that way because he lost. I think it was just because sometimes you have an off night, you know, and that is an obvious thing to point at and blame.
We want to look a little bit at your division and compare it to when you were active and right now. There's one guy who was ranked at that time in your division who is ranked right now. Can you name him?
One guy that was ranked then that is still ranked now.
And it's about the same spot as well.
Really?
Yep.
Jeez.
It's funny.
Who is it? Who is it? Go on, tell me.
Robert Whittaker.
Oh, Robert Whittaker, of course. Yeah.
He just made it in that division though. Like I think the year before he went up to middleweight.
Yeah. No, I mean Robert's a legend. What can I tell you? He's the man.
What other fighters come to mind when you were the champ?
When I think about my era, if you will.
Who were like guys who were around top 5?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, back in the day it was Anderson Silva. We had Chris Weidman, Vito Belfort, Lyoto Machida. Who else? Did I say Vito Belfort? Vito Belfort was in there. Luke Rockhold, of course.
When
Gegard Mousasi.
Who was fantastic, but when Luke won the belt, people were convinced that he was gonna hold on to it for a very, very long time, and then you came in and
that's what I thought. I thought he was gonna. I mean, because the way Luke was beating everybody, he was making it look easy. I mean, look what he did to Machida. He just destroyed him. So I thought, and when he beat Weidman, I thought, here we go. He's gonna defend it for a while. But you know, come on, left hook Larry showed up. I got lucky.
No, you
didn't.
No,
I'm joking.
No. I was getting lucky. No.
I got lucky.
All right, so we're pretty excited in the Netherlands because we finally have a contender again, someone who's ranked in the middleweight division, Reinier de Ridder. Yep, you actually interviewed him recently. What are your thoughts on him? What have you, from what you've seen from him so far? Former ONE FC double champ, of course, different organization. What's your opinion so far?
I think he's very good. It's kind of shocking that he's Dutch. And he's a terrible kickboxer. He's not the best striker. He's not. But my word, is he good at grappling. He's phenomenal. Fantastic. He's so good at grappling. And that's, you know, kind of what he uses in all of his fights. And I think he's going to have a great future because he beat Gerald Meerschaert and he got the submission. And Meerschaert is a really, really tough guy to beat, certainly in the style that he did. And then what he did to Kevin Holland. Was it Kevin Holland his last fight? Yeah. And then he took Kevin Holland out and he made it look really easy, you know. So I think he needs to tighten up the striking a little bit, and I'm sure he's aware of that. And I'm sure he's always working on that with Henry Hooft.
He's there right now,
Yeah, exactly. So he knows that. He knows. But he's going to fast track his way. I mean, if he gets 1 or 2 more big wins, he could be in title talks very soon.
And a very interesting matchup now because he's fighting Bo Nickel. Also,
that's right. Yeah,
not a striker, phenomenal wrestler, great grappling. What he has shown so far, his last 2 fights weren't his best fights.
No.
Even the chant "overrated" was started when he fought in New York.
Paul Craig.
What do you think of the matchup?
Yeah, you know, so Paul Craig. So Bo Nickel is under a bit of pressure here because he fought Paul Craig and didn't take him down, you know, and obviously he's trying to be smart and not playing to the strengths of Paul Craig. But at some point, you've got to take a chance. And if you can't get the job done on the feet, then let's see this amazing wrestling and this ground and pound that you think you can do. You've got to entertain people. It's all well and good being undefeated, and it's all well and good having a great record and being this incredible wrestler. But if you go out there and you're boring all the crowd, even though you still get the win, you're not going to get opportunities. People aren't going to tune in to see you fight. So now he's going up against Reinier de Ridder, and again, it's a very similar thing. It's going to be dangerous. So Bo Nickal's got to either take some chances or knock him out on the feet. And I don't think that's going to be very easy. I think Reinier de Ridder is going to be trying to take him down. And if it does go down to the ground, there's a very good chance that he wins by submission. And if Reinier can beat Gerald Meerchart, Kevin Holland, and then take out Bo Nickal, who's this undefeated, bright prospect, it will be absolutely huge for him and the people of Holland.
Do you think that the winner of that fight is ready for a top 5 fighter and really be a contender looking at the belt?
Yeah, I mean, still a couple of fights away from a title fight, but if you can beat somebody like Bo Nickal, because Bo Nickal's right there as well. He's won a few now as well, undefeated, as I said. So yeah, whoever wins that one, I'm not sure who I would match them up with next, but they'd be like 2 or 3 fights away from a title.
Appreciate it. That's it.
All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Easy peasy.